Hey folks, I'm Chris, and let's talk about ingest SDKs in Moose. So an ingest SDK is an SDK that's automatically generated for you by Moose that makes it really easy for you or other developer teams to capture data from other applications and send that data downstream into your analytics backend. These SDKs also include some pretty cool developer time, type checking, and data validation. Let's take a look. So I'm going to hop back into my basic Moose application that we built in the data model and streaming function videos. You can see here I've got two basic data models, foobar and foobaz. But now let's say I'm a developer of an upstream application, maybe a mobile app, and I want to capture data from my mobile app experience and push that data into my analytics backend here. I can, of course, write functions that push that data to the, I gotta start my Moose dev server. I can, of course, write functions that push that data to the API endpoints that have been automatically generated for these Moose data models. And I'll show you in a second what those endpoints look like. Here we go. So you can see the API endpoints exist here at foobar and foobaz on the ingest URL. But in order to make this even easier, we've added the SDK feature to Moose, where Moose will automatically generate an SDK for me that I can import into my application that I want to capture data from. So let me show you what that looks like now. I'm going to use a Moose CLI helper function to generate this SDK. So I'm going to do Moose generate SDK. I'm going to specify the language, which in this case will be TypeScript. And I'm going to specify the destination where I want to send this SDK to, which in this case will be my, my front-end application that I've created, which is my front-end app. And I'm going to put this in an SDK folder in this application. Before I run this really quick, I'll show you the front-end application that we're pulling this into. This is just a basic Next.js app. And you can see here we've got the source folder with the app folder with our front-end code into it. I come back to Moose, and I'm going to run this helper function, which is going to generate that SDK. And now, when I come back to my front-end application, I can see within the source folder, we've added this SDK folder. What this has done is imported the data model sources of truth of foobar and foobaz, but more importantly, imported this automatically generated SDK, which gives me ingest functions for each of the data models that I've defined. So I've got send foobar and send foobaz that I can now start to use in my front-end application. So as a front-end developer, all I'm going to need to do is first import the library for this SDK. So I'm going to import, it's called ingest client v0, and then I can start to use this. So define a new client that uses this SDK. I'm going to point this at my local host environment, and then I can start to actually use this. So I'm going to define a payload that I want to send in. Constant payload, and let's say we know, actually you can see here my AI Copilot has started to pick up on the structure of this, but for foobar, what I actually want to send in is a foo payload, which will look like a string, XYZ, and then I want to send in a bar payload, which will be a date but in string format. So let's just do date.now. And then I can use the send function instead of writing a post request myself. So I'm going to do wait client.send foobar, and I'm going to send payload. Now, where this gets really interesting is right here in my IDE, it's caught that this payload is sending a string and a number but foobar is expecting a string and a string. So I forgot to convert my date into a string format. Fix this, and my issues go away. So yeah, that's the SDK in a nutshell. If you're interested in learning more, you can watch our videos on data models and streaming functions, which are more Moose features related to ingesting data into your analytics backend. Or if you're interested more in getting data out of your analytics backend and feeding it into dashboards or components in your UX, check out our egress videos. Thanks for the time. Bye.